So Free Bert has finally been released on Netflix, which means I can talk about what it was like working on set. And I think I figured out the real reason Bert does not like wearing a shirt. And it is different than the one I posted in the last video. So stay tuned, we'll talk about that and more. So in the last video, I gave the official reason of Bert always being without his shirt as that he likes to party, and that it seems like it's more of a party atmosphere, or people like to party harder when he has no shirt. That was one that I found when I Googled it. I was just like, okay, why does Bert Kreischer not wear a shirt all the time when he's doing comedy? That seems like the official response. But after being on set and kind of watching what goes on, it's very clear that that is probably not the reason, because he used pretty much any excuse he could to be without a shirt, not just partying. He's on set working, so obviously not a party atmosphere. The reason I believe that he doesn't like to wear a shirt is he's just more comfortable. Like, he's a big guy, and it seems like he does overheat a lot, and I think that he just feels better without a shirt. Like, it feels like it's his natural element. He seems like he's less uncomfortable, so he probably just feels better without a shirt. Not necessarily because it's a party thing or because that there's some other complicated reason. He probably just feels better without a shirt. And when we were on set, if he had a brief period, like 15 minutes or so, he would take the shirt off. Like, he would be without the shirt, not in front of, he didn't necessarily have to be in front of people. Like, even when he's, back preparing for things. Like, for example, there's a thing on set where they say New Deal, which means they're moving the cameras for either a different angle or they're setting up like another scene or a vignette. And there's usually a break between that. Sometimes it's kind of short, but sometimes it's longer, like 15, 20 minutes. During that, he would go back and he would be without his shirt. He'd be out of costume. And then as soon as they get things ready, he'd put his shirt back on and come back on. And when we were done for the day, so if he was, or not necessarily we were done, when he was done for the day, like he had no more lines, he's not on camera anymore, shirt would be off. And many times, especially during the very last day, or I think it was the last day for him shooting, not only was shirt off, he was in a bathing suit for half of it. Like, his bottoms would look like they were longer, like surfer bathing suit bottoms. Like, he was not in his formal pants, and he had a drink. So then he was partying a little bit, because I'm pretty sure it was an alcoholic drink. But it seems like that's just his comfort level. He just feels better, and he seems more relaxed and comfortable without the shirt or just with, whatever he can do to, not have clothes on. Maybe he just doesn't like the feel. My guess is it's like a heat thing, because he does kind of get sweaty really quickly. When we were shooting a lot of the scenes in the nice house, I think it was like the rich parents having a brunch, he was sweating, and he would quickly sweat. Like, they had to cool him down. He had to get like iced coffees to like pep up and to cool down. So I think it's probably mostly an overheating thing, that he's just gets really hot in his own body, especially when wearing clothes. But, I don't want to say 100%. All I can say is it's most likely because he's just more comfortable. Now, you might think it's weird that he was actually drinking on set, but it was usually when he's done and wrapped. So usually when you're wrapped, you're kind of free to do whatever. Sometimes some people, like some stars or some other, day players, they might stay after just to socialize or just to hang out, because it's fun on set. There's basically all your friends there, and it's good for networking. So, like, you're free, you're not on the clock anymore. But there is a thing, like, when you are the star, you can bend the rules. And I've seen this on set a few times. One big example with this is on Tulsa King, when I did that a while ago. Stallone is allowed to smoke a cigar. And usually you wouldn't be allowed to do that on set. Like, when I was on Black Mafia Family, they would give herbal cigars to everybody. And, like, that's, if someone was smoking that, they'd smoke that, so it's not like real cigar smoke. But for Stallone, he is the star. It's worth millions and millions of dollars having him on, so you want to keep him happy. He's like a god on set. Literally, he is the king. Even other of the co-stars, like, they don't mess with him, they don't bother him. You show absolute respect to him. So what they would do is the PAs would go, or the production assistants would go, and they'd like kind of ask everybody, like, hey, are you okay if an actor smokes a real cigar on set? And if you do have a problem, like you're allergic or you just really don't want to smell like cigar, they'll just move you far away from him. Actually, his cigars actually smell really good. Like, I have not smoked cigars regularly since college, and I'd smoke them maybe once a week, maybe less than once a week. but his cigar smelled very, very good. So I don't know what he is smoking, but it is a good cigar. So a lot of times the A-listers will get a lot of wiggle room in terms of what they are allowed. Like they'll bend rules a lot as long as it's not egregious and as long as a lot of people don't have a problem with it. So it's not that abnormal. And his was, you know, he wants to kind of let loose and get into kind of more of a party atmosphere or a party feeling as soon as he's done or whenever he can. Now, even though he did kind of bend the rules like this, he didn't act kind of like stuck up or demanding as far as I saw. When he was on set, he was really chill. He would come around and give fist bumps to people. Like, he gave me a couple of fist bumps when he was just walking by to get to his mark. And that's a thing that a lot of other celebrities don't do, or a lot of other big names don't do. The thing that I've usually seen is people who are A-listers, like, you know, Stallone, Samuel L. Jackson, Liam Neeson. They generally keep to themselves and they don't interact too much, especially with background. They interact with, like, the director or the people they have to interact with, and they kind of keep it to a minimum with anybody else. Many times the newer actors who are starting to get popular, like their first couple of years, or they're not like a huge name, they'll be much more willing to be like, hey, look at me, come interact with people. Like, an example was like Adam Devine. He, on Righteous Gemstones, he was much more likely to come and say like, hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Versus like, well, I don't want to say John Goodman. John Goodman was like that, but it was more of a way of, look at me, I'm John Goodman. Not in a bad way, it's just he meets a lot of people, and the people I talk to who have met him multiple times, they said he just introduces himself the same way because he forgets. He's had so many people that he's met over the years that he's just not going to remember people. He was friendly. But many of the others, they will just kind of like politely ignore you because they've just been accosted so many times. And to be fair, background extras ask very inappropriate things, or they act very inappropriately. Usually you should just act like this is your job and you don't bother people. And the A-listers, you treat them like regular people and you don't talk to them unless they want to talk to you. And many times, especially background actors who just done it once or a couple of times, or they're not trying to be professional actors, they'll be inappropriate. They'll go ask for autographs. They'll go ask for selfies. Sometimes people are okay with it, like Sholo, who is Blue Beetle and on Cobra Kai. He's fine with selfies and like signing things for people. But a lot of the A-listers, they don't even want people coming close to them because it's just been like their entire life of being bothered by people, and they're at work. They want to work. They don't want to be a celebrity or doing the whole, you know, pleasing the fans thing. But he was really pleasant. He'd come, he'd chit-chat with people. Hey, how you doing? He took selfies with some people, like some of my friends took selfies with him. Me, I don't like doing that on set because I think it's not my thing. For me on set, I'm gonna have the episode, so I don't need a selfie. I can, you know, I don't need to prove to someone I was on set. I can go, look, there I am. You can see me. I was on set, so I don't like asking for selfies or autographs. But he was fine with it. He was okay if people wanted to do like a little selfie and put it out there. But otherwise, he seemed very chill. He seemed very relaxed, very friendly guy, down to earth, but definitely, you know, enjoys having a good time. On set, there really isn't much to talk about. It was a regular set like any others. There's not anything that was very weird or specific. They shot all on location, so they were all physical locations around Atlanta, not California. So when you see those, they only have like some B-roll in California. I think just about everything else was shot somewhere in Atlanta. Like the nice brunch scene, it was some random person's house in, I think, northwestern-ish Atlanta, in a nicer area. When we did the scenes in the auditorium with all the parents, that was some random, I don't remember if it was a school auditorium or if it was something else. I think it was a prep school auditorium, but I'm not 100% on that. This is a while ago when we shot, over like a year ago, I think. Was it a year ago? No, it was over the summer we shot. Sorry, I misspoke. It's still a while, so I don't remember exactly the set location, and I really don't want to say the exact set location in case people bother them. But just about everything was shot in Atlanta, not California, so it's all just movie magic there. Another thing is, if you watched the previous video that I did about Freebert, and you watched Freebert, you'll notice there's some discrepancies in terms of what I talked about it being about and what the series actually ended up being. And that was because they did rewrites, and from what I've heard from other people who were working more on the crew side, is that they did a lot of the rewrites kind of like while they were filming. And that sometimes happens, and that happens a little bit more with comedies, because it's easier to kind of change a comedy. last second, and I think it was because the plot line probably wasn't going to work out right, or maybe it was just conflicting. So they changed it up, and we got something a little bit different. But the problem is that video is only based on things that are publicly available. Like for me, when I'm acting, I've got a non-disclosure agreement with all these things, so I really can't say the private stuff that I know, or I can't tell like any of the secrets I know on set. Like I can't say like these were the scenes we shot, or this is what actually happened, because that hasn't been released yet. So if I do make a video about something upcoming, I just have to kind of say what is public knowledge, and many times those things are based on when the show gets approved, like when it gets greenlit, not necessarily when things are actually going into production or during production. That stuff, it's got to be kept secret unless it's actually publicly known. So if you watch it and you're like, you said a whole bunch of stuff that's completely BS, this is not true, I watched it, it's because that's based on old information, not what's actually going on, because that stuff is private and I cannot talk about it until now. Now I can talk about it. So that's it with that. Another thing that was really fun is on the set, I had a lot of people that I'd worked with before. It's a very small community, especially with background actors or even just regular actors, where I was on set last week and I knew several of the background actors, and I even knew one or two of the day players, the people who have like the lines for like that day, or they only work a day or so on a show. I actually recognized a couple of them from previous shows where they were day players on, or that they had worked on. And it's just crazy how small the community is. On this show specifically, I want to shout out to 4 people, Alexander Blackman, Mackenzie Bowman, Scott Cassix, and Max Young. They're all good friends. I haven't seen some of them since Free Bert, but like Mackenzie, I saw her yesterday because I was shooting for like 12 hours yesterday in Atlanta, and I look horribly tired and disheveled because it was a very, very long day, but I saw her yesterday, so and I saw her last week. So it's really a small group of people, and if you start watching a lot of these shows, especially the ones that are filmed in Atlanta, you can pick out the same group of people that have been in the same things. Like, I remember watching it and recognizing, like, yep, I worked with him on Grosse Pointe Garden Society, I worked with her last week, I worked with him 5 times. It's really a small group, and if you pay attention to background actors, you will see the same ones over and over again in different productions. So look out for them, look out for me, and when you're watching shows kind of like C, you'll spot a lot of the same people if you're paying attention. I think that's it for this video. If you guys have any questions or things you want, answered, or want to know more about with acting, or really anything else, let me know in the comments. I'm Frank Ciopatini with Servetti Software. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, also, before I forget, the reason why I'm filming here, this is not the normal filming location you might recognize. I'm in my office right now because as I previously said, really tired from filming yesterday, so I didn't feel like going to the studio and filming. The studio is also really cold this time of year, and South Carolina is uncharacteristically cold. So I didn't want to put up with that. So that's why I'm in this office, and I'm being really lazy. So I apologize for the laziness of this video. Hopefully the next videos will be back in the office. If you don't mind it, let me know, because this saves me a little bit of time and makes it maybe a little bit faster to get videos out. But, anything for the fans. So guys, let me know in the comments. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next one. Why would you message me right then? Servetti helps services run better. For a demo or free trial, email frank@servetti.com or leave a comment.